Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We are going to get started today by working on our subjects. Oh my goodness, there's a military revolt in Guatemala. We're getting started today by dealing with this military revolt in Guatemala. I'm going to send the Army of East Africa to deal with it. I think they'll be completely sufficient. I got a lot of small things to handle here. So let's get started. First, after the revolt in Brazil, I've got some silly fleets. Let me see, what is this? This is a fleet with some extra monitors. I'm going to just disband it. I don't need that. The Marina Real is over its limit. I can go ahead and expand the Marina Real itself. Let's see, you're an alcoholic. Reduce morale damage. But engineer, Duggan, and logistics secure, that doesn't help. So we'll grab this industrialist guy, and he'll provide the extra command limit needed. We're almost maxed out on scout cruisers. I think I'm going to cut these torpedo boats. I'm going to throw in another set of scout cruisers. We are short on infrastructure in Alentejo, and it's not close. So let's go ahead and throw... Actually, let's increase the production method, and that will solve that problem. And then I don't need to build anymore. We got a 5th Luso-Brazilian army. Where... If I close this army out, it's going to go to the Army of South America. That's fine. Yep, alright, and that was the entirety of the rest of the Army of South America. So that's where that's supposed to be. Suez Canal Company is prosperous? Maybe? Not yet. So then we'll cut those torpedo boats when the time comes. In fact, the rest of the monitors we'll cut. Now, how close are we to having an upper tier? We're working on Dreadnought. We're 7 months away from Dreadnought. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and ignore... Oh, you know what? I need submarine as well. And then destroyer. Although, again, we're probably going to have destroyer spread to us. Then I'll queue in NCO training. I actually... Hold up. I think mine might be... No, okay, I am maxed out. Limited to a maximum due to innovation cap, and then spread is... Yeah, I do have some unspent innovation, so that's just fine. Cool. Alright. So now, if we, I think I am probably going to increase the size of the Ejército Portugués. At the same time as I increase the size of the Marina Real. Although the Marina Real is not actually getting that big. It's going to get its main expansion once we finish off Dreadnought. Alright, so let's go ahead and put us... Oh, right, I was going to look at my subject states. So my goal here is I'm going to try to turn subject states that are protectorates into dominions. That's my priority. Bulungan I could reduce. Or no, Bulungan's already a dominion. Both of these are... Okay, so Brunei's a protectorate. That's fine. Greece is a protectorate. Greece is going down really fast. Greece is also not a priority as much. IT is going down. Miskito Kingdom's getting there. Netherlands. Alright, Netherlands is the country that I want to get to be a dominion. They're going down reasonably quickly. Prestige modifier is good to go. Let's go ahead and reduce that. So this is going to increase the autonomy, the liberty desire of all of my other puppets. Again, this is slowing down Greece, but I think actually Netherlands is a higher priority in terms of getting autonomy desire down than Greece is. Because Netherlands' economy is bigger, although it's not that big. Netherlands' economy is really, really small. How did you get Robert Bork this bad, Netherlands? Jeepers. Gosh, no wonder you're a third-rate power. What kind of industrialization have you got going on? Oh, you got a population crisis is what you got. Yep. Oh, that's really brutal. Man, I wonder where they could have all gone. Probably to Portugal. The Sao Paulo pipeline. This is the first of our pipeline events. Pretty much always going to say yes to this. This is a thing I always do. Oil companies operating in Sao Paulo have are requesting government assistance in funding a pipeline, promising that its construction will be accompanied by other infrastructure improvements. Putting a liquid inside a solid, putting that solid inside another solid, and propelling the whole mess across a railway. Trust me, in the future they will laugh at how we once did this. Now, let me show you how simple it can be. It'll just be like turning on a tap. We will contribute to the funding of this project. This adds a minuscule amount of expenses in exchange for 10 infrastructure and happy industrialists for 2 years. I can also say there's no budget. That makes the industrialists mad. So I'm always going to say yes to this. It's never the wrong call. We've got a peasant revolt in Greece. I'm going to go ahead and send the army of South America to deal with it. Significant peasant revolt in Greece, frankly. Alright, so, yeah, so I think Netherlands had a population collapse crisis, and that's part of why their situation is so rough. Yeah, not using up-to-date anythings. Yeah, well, that'll do it. Alright, so let's go ahead and set this a-going again. Oh, I've got a little bit of influence to play with. Is there anyone who's not especially happy with me in Europe? Still working on France, German Federation. Don't really care about Sweden. Could have sworn there was somebody. Switzerland's a good... Oh, Spain! Right. Let's improve relations with Spain, because I fought them in a war. Because remember, this is the Spain that revolted. Quote-unquote fascist Spain, although they don't seem to be doing that much of a fascism over here. They're doing censorship, but even I'm doing censorship. Hell on Earth event. Perpetrators will pay for their crimes. Blah, 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 blah. Great Britain is going after Darfur. Doesn't affect me one bit. So the children want mass conscription. Again, I think that's mostly not the right call. 2 arms. So the situation in Guatemala should sort itself out reasonably quickly. We are on the attack over here. No problems happening there. And this should be good. So we're actually getting quite close to being not paying any interest whatsoever. So I'm pretty pleased by that overall. Still trying to get the Suez Canal Company profitable. How can I mean, it's a naval expansion. Naval expansion is what I need to do. But I've got so many... I should do a port expansion is what I should do. That'll increase the price of steamers in my market. And that will be worthwhile for my ports. Because it's really steamers that are cheap as heck. We'll set up a few export routes as well. What do those military shipyards, or what do those civilian shipyards use? They use steel engines and coal. So they use a bunch of things that are very expensive in the market, and that's part of the issue. So, let me see. How can I... Beira is actually losing population at this point, which is not a good thing. 2 arms. So let's go ahead and build another 10 levels of steel mills here. Motor industries are... Wow, still, look at all those... Oh my gosh, we're selling them abroad, that's why. Alright, well we'll go ahead and increase the size of the motor industry as well. And hopefully that'll help those buildings. Situation in Greece has popped off. Making sure that that sorts itself out in good order. This building project is obviously going to take some time, but it's also going to let a little bit more cash flow into the investment pool, which will be just fine. we're continuing to colonize Taswana. This is going to sort itself out. So yeah, we've achieved our rose-colored map objective as well, which I'm also pretty pleased about. Is this Denmark? That's Denmark. Are you somebody's puppet? You're Russia's protectorate. That's really interesting. I bet I could take Russia in a fight. They're still on peasant levy, which I don't remember if peasant levy still restricts your military production methods, but I think it does. Yeah, I think it does. I don't think they're just low tech. Kalimantan is an anti-Luso-Brazilian association. That's so uncool. That's so very expensive. Let me see, do we have any additional coal resources we could exploit? We do, here in Parana. Let's go ahead and do so. Because coal mines are very productive. Santa Catarina, very little population here, but still a good target for coal mine expansion. A lot of these places will passively generate the amount of population they're going to need over time. Particularly if there's jobs available. Well, really, only if there's jobs available. As always, I'm going to throw those railways in at the top so there's not an interruption of infrastructure capability. There's Dreadnought. Alright, so now these are going to go in at the top. We've got 60 total scout cruisers. So I'm going to throw in about 50 levels of Dreadnoughts. I think maybe 45. So we'll do 10, 10, 10. Oh, you know what? I made a mistake. We'll do... You know what? No, we'll do it. We'll equal them. We'll equalize them. Alright, so there's that. And that means we're going to... So that might actually make the shipyards profitable enough to have this company start growing in prosperity. How do we get... Yeah, we need 1.25 times the global average. So global average is 9.6. So we need to be at like 11 or 12. Hey! Anti-British lobby finally bailed out. Excellent. Oh, yeah, here we go. Here we go. Oh, I'm excited. Gonna get that sweet, sweet 60, gonna get that tasty, tasty 50,000 per week. Alright, so the thing is going on in Uruguay. I think Germany's got this. I'm not gonna get involved. So we'll just let that be. Germany wants a mutual investment rights. What's your power block? Your power block is the Zollverein. It's a trade league. What? Can I look at what's going on? Yeah, here we go. Police coordination, that's pretty solid. Transport infrastructure, that's alright. Militarized industry, ooh, that's pretty solid. And internal trade. Would I like my customs union? We'll say no for now. I don't want to get into someone else's power block. We are in an election again. Black gold, black money. An inquiry has revealed that government politician Jorge Mendez's recent wealth has been accumulated through bribes from oil companies, allowing them to lease land without bidding. In an investigation like this, there's a way to know you're on the right track. It's that records of what you look for start to go missing. The harder you look, the more it disappears, until it appears as if a man conjured his fortune from nothing. Once you force them to make it look like magic, you can start figuring out the trick. So Jorge Mendez is the leader of the petite bourgeoisie. He is a corporatist. We must make an example of all parties in this scandal. Jorge Mendez resigns industrialists big mad. An elected official abusing his position is a severe crime. Jorge Mendez resigns and trade unions big mad. Corporate leaders undermining our government cannot be allowed to walk. 3, reduce legitimacy and industrialists mad, or even great people make mistakes that can all be settled with some fines. Trade unions mad, reduce legitimacy. Alright, so I gotta either get rid of him or reduce legitimacy, and I can make the trade unions or the industrialists big mad in the process. I can much more afford the industrialists to be mad, so I'm gonna go with this first one. And I want to keep all that legitimacy, so that's good. A tumultuous campaign. Whilst campaigning for the Portuguese Catholic Center in the turmoil-racked Maranhão, Stoyan Dragutinovic has been attacked and brutally beaten by a group of unknown assailants. Let me see. So he is with the petit bourgeois. Interesting. When the crowd cheered and the screaming stopped, all that was left in the street was his prostrate form, bruised, cut, and barely recognizable as the titan he had represented not 5 minutes before. Some resting and recuperation would be best, reduce momentum, and he becomes scarred. Get back to the trail right away, he gets wounded, increase momentum. Of course we know who it was us. He gets wounded and shell-shocked. I don't necessarily want to mess with this guy. Let me see, wounded is going to reduce his health. That's not that big of a deal. Let's get that momentum. Throw that momentum at the center. So, this is an aristocratic revolted Benin. I'm going to be neutral on this. I'm going to kind of always do that anytime there's... I don't want to be messing with great powers in this way. So as soon as these steel mills are done, we'll just go ahead and pull all the navy stuff to the top. There we go. Beautiful. And these are really going to increase the profitability of those, of our lovely Suez Canal Company. So that'll be nice. These will get done really fast because they're completely, because they're military buildings, and military buildings get built quickly. So who do we have heading up the... Interesting. Who do we have heading up the Catholic Church now? We have an ethno-nationalist. Oh no, that was someone else. Because I remember Sebastian Beck. I remember him. I remember us having an ethno-nationalist in charge over there for a while. So that looks different. The United States is exporting iron to us. That's interesting. I should be able to fill all my own iron needs. But you know how things go. So as we get going here, we are in position 3 in the global rankings. Equal to France, though. That's pretty impressive, I would say. Our GDP is almost the size of France's, and our standard of living is a lot lower, as is our population. We're kind of doing our best. Have I successfully incorporated these territories in Brazil? I have. Beautiful. Oh, wait, no, I haven't. The opposite of that, because they revolted, and I stopped incorporating them. Oh, that's really, really unfortunate. Oh, my goodness, I'm so salty right now. I wanted those territories. Alright, so I was also doing Bahia, and if I recall correctly, I was doing Pernambuco as well. Yes. I'm very salty. Oh, big salt. Alright, so I'm going to need some more freaking bureaucracy to deal with this, but that's just fine. Let's go ahead and flip the ones over in Alentejo over to the new production method, and that's going to give us the bureaucracy that we need at the cost of some telephones. The best defense. Our neighbors in Bengal have become known for their ruthless foreign policy, a concern that the Regenerator Party has raised in their election campaign, promising to be harsher in turn to deter aggression. The suggestion has been brought to me that our diplomats study more languages to facilitate connections all around the world. This is well and good, but we all know that there's only one language a Bengali brood understands. They don't teach it in the universities, but we better be ready to speak it if we want the border to stay where it is. The Bengali menace must be deterred. 30% momentum for the Regenerators. Deteriorates relations with Bengal. Frankly, they couldn't get worse. Or they're just looking for a target for their posturing armed forces mad. I'm going to go with the first one. That should be fine. Again, relations with Bengal basically couldn't be worse at this point already, so it really doesn't impact things in any meaningful way. A Tajik uprising in Chitral. I can't get involved in that anyway, so I'm not going to bother. And then, diplomatically in Scandinavia, Sweden is having a revolution. It's just fine. I'll keep an eye on that for now. I'm going to see if our bureaucracy situation sorts itself out. It's not sorting itself out. Alentejo, what's going on? Do you not have enough, They don't have enough priests. Oh, they're getting there now. Alright, so hopefully, as this number goes up, we should see the situation sorting itself out. No. Interesting. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. We're getting there. We're getting there. Hey! Hey! Come back! Come back here! Come back here! Straight Hungary sides with Dahomey. Gonna be neutral in all of these. Can't be bothered. Another one going on Perak. Again, can't be bothered. Hey, stonks! We got 3 companies up to maxed out, up to prosperous. So that'll give us a nice shot in the arm financially, which will be really good. All right, we're finally getting there. Government admin is getting going again. Beautiful. And once again, we got the trucial states popping off. I'm pretty pleased that my protectorates and other territories have mostly been completely able to roll with the times. I'm kicking myself about these frickin'... I can't believe they came unincorporated. It was just a revolt. Were they genuinely not incorporated yet when that happened? Oh, I'm so salty. I'm so salty. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So, let's take a look at the Marina Real. We're going to need to reduce the number of ironclads because we've got dreadnoughts coming in. There's the election. I don't think that changes anything about the politics. Nope, it sure doesn't. Keeping the armed forces in there, and that'll be just fine. Hey, are you on defense? You should be on attack. Keep an eye on these armies. Put them back on attack. Don't want to put myself in a situation later. Alright, now Marina Real. I'm going to continue to decrease the number of ironclads. I'm also going to... Oh, something going on in America. I'm going to cut the rest of the monitors. Because we don't need those. And I'll do the rest of the ironclads as well. And that'll give us a visual to what the baseline... what things look like, particularly with our prestige, once we're at baselines. So, there is a Confederate bourgeois revolt kicking off. I certainly don't have any interest in fighting Germany, so I can probably ignore this. Confederacy, what are you trying to do? You're trying to go to guaranteed liberties from National Guard. So the bourgeois, being the petit bourgeois, the yeoman farmers, and the trade unions, have all popped off and decided to create a problem. There is an offer that I'll support, but it's a trade agreement. I don't necessarily... It's not that I don't want a trade agreement, but that's not worth fighting a war over. That's my take. Tunis is a French puppet. Alright. Let's take Mexico sides with them as well. Let's take another quick look at our subjects. Anyone I can turn into a dominion. I could turn Brunei into a dominion. Brunei... Oh my goodness. Things are going bad in Brunei. What's going on with you, Brunei? What happened over there? Nope. There's an aristocratic revolt in Bulangan. That's neither here nor there, but it is happening. Alright, we'll throw the Army of East Africa at it. Brunei, how do you have 0 GDP? 115k population. What's going on in Brunei state? You have no access to the market. Standard of living is terrible. Infrastructure is kaborked. Alright, we have railways, but they're not... What industries are employing here? Trade centers. Brunei. Well, I think the entire population of Brunei is employed in trade centers. And that doesn't... Those don't provide really good wages at all. Hmm. And government admin. Situation in Brunei is real bad. I can't believe Brunei has 3 levels of railways, and they're not... Well, I don't think I can save this situation, I gotta say. I think Brunei is gonna have to dig itself out of that hole. I don't know how to help. Actually, if I turn them into a dominion, I could impose laws on them, and that might help things out. I'm gonna bankroll them. £120 a week. That should be something. Let's go ahead and also offer knowledge sharing. We'll reduce subject payments, which isn't going to matter right now, but could matter later. Alright, and that should help Brunei just get completely out of its hole. Is anyone else in a hole? It's going down. IT is going down. I could put Maguinda now into being a puppet. That'd be nice, but it's not as important. I can get the Miskito Kingdom down to a dominion. Let's go ahead and do that. It's going to increase the liberty desire of the others, but again, they're all going down, so it's not that big of a deal. I'll probably be neutral on this Confederate uprising situation unless I see some sort of compelling interest not to be, but I don't at the moment see a compelling interest not to be, so we'll just get those things going. Alright, so yes, so buy orders for ships are extremely high. Is the private sector building new shipyards? Not military ones. No, a few military ones. Very curious. Let's go ahead. Do we have military shipyards in Galicia? Yeah, we do. Let's go ahead and queue in a few more levels of those. And just to confirm these are ones producing... Yeah, they are. Alright. Just making sure they're producing the right kind of ships. I'm going to throw those in at the... I only need 4. Throw those in at the top of the queue. Get the other stuff finished. A bunch of powers declaring neutrality about a bunch of different things. Can't get involved in Maya, or rather, can't get anything for getting involved in Maya, so I'm going to ignore that. Ditto. Lahej, Kathiri. Lanfang. Is Lanfang independent? They are. You sure neither of you wants to be a subject state? My customs union is very good. No? Okay. Alright. Where are we in the episode? We're almost at the end of the episode. It's been pretty chill. I know I talked about going to assembly line, and I still do want to do that, but I've got a lot of work to do in my customs union still. The children still want mass conscription. I am actually, though, I really would like to get rid of colonial exploitation at this point, because I don't feel it's doing me a lot of good. Again, aristocratic revolts. Guns and steam. Leopoldo de Sousa Coutinho has successfully deployed our impressive dreadnoughts in the ongoing conflict, proving that they are not mere vanity projects for the Navy. At first, onlookers were shocked as it appeared from a distance that the ship itself had exploded. In fact, the flames engulfing it were from its first full broadside. The ship was quite unharmed, although I have heard later that it is inadvisable to keep any fragile objects on board for such an occasion. More impressive now than ever, extra prestige. Or now that we know how to use them effectively, even peacetime, twice as much prestige, but only from Navy power projection. So where does our prestige mostly come from? We got 2,400, of which 800 is from Navy power projection. So if we get more prestige from Navy power projection, that'll actually be more prestige than the baseline. So we will go ahead. How do we get prestige from tech? Oh, right, from discovery set. Well, that makes sense. I'm going to get extra prestige from Navy power projection, and that will be just fine. I think that was the right call. I think I did the math right in my head. If not, then it is what it is. Couldn't possibly get involved over there. Oh, goodness. Oh, they're trying to unify... Why do I never get called into these diplomatic plays? Do I not have an interest declared somewhere important? I think so. I'm declaring more interests. I'm interested, gosh darn it. I'm interested in Germany. I'm just interested in getting paid to use my army's places. This I'm very happy about, though, because having 110k pounds flowing into the investment pool at the same time as I'm only a little bit in the red it feels pretty good. It feels pretty good. I have to be conscientious, of course, because I don't want to be in a situation where I'm totally overspending, but I'm spending pretty conscientiously, and it's going pretty well. Alright. And we're almost up to cordial with Spain, which will be nice. We're at cordial with Haiti. We're at cordial with France. Ending the slave trade. Vincente de Pino, leader of the intelligentsia and a well-known opponent to the global slave trade, argues that our colonial ambitions in Botswana should be leveraged towards ending the practice on the continent. You've seen this event before. I'm just going to say we have a duty to end slavery wherever it rears its ugly head. It's probably going to kick off a war with Botswana, but that's okay. Questionable practices. Released patients from the Lisbon Assembly have steadily denounced the practices involved in their supposedly medical treatments. Mistreatment of the sick, withholding of personal letters, and disproportionate punishments were among the charges. They would make us sit in a chair for hours, if not the whole day, in silence. We couldn't talk to any other patient, not even read a book. They would only excuse us to go to the bathroom if we were lucky. Otherwise, it was just a rusty chamber pot. No food, no water. If we were not sick when we were admitted, we would be within a few days. Their judgment cannot be trusted. Angry Catholic Church. Definitely don't want to do that. We need to entirely revise how the asylum system works. Extremadura gets extra standard of living for the lower and middle strata for 5 years. That's nice. Or the Catholic Church can take over the asylum administration and reduce bureaucracy. I'm going to go with the middle one. It's going to cost us a pile of cash, but higher standards of living for the lower strata is disproportionately strong. Let me take a quick look at the demographics of our home territories before we close out. So, we got about 9.5 million people in Extremadura. The lower stratum is about 6.3 million, so that's about a third. Middle stratum is 2.8 million, and upper stratum is about 250,000, which is pretty large upper stratum, frankly. Population is mostly Portuguese, but we've got a sizable Zulu minority, which is interesting. And then a bunch of different populations. We got a pretty solid Marathi minority. We got some Swahili people, some Central Americans, South Italians, Greeks, Poles, etc. Various other African and European peoples living here. Beira has the population 8.5 million, but going down, mostly due to migration, sending a total mostly to the other places in the core. Working class population 5.85 million, which is, again, about the same ratio. 2.5 million in the middle and 300,000 in the upper stratum. So that's interesting. Alentejo, population about 6 million. Noticeably lower standard of living for the lower stratum in Alentejo. But we did just increase the standard of living for the lower and middle strata in Extremadura, so that's not actually impacting a lot of things. I think the thing that surprised me is that the working stratum's standard of living is pretty high in Beira compared to the other areas. So Alentejo, we're at 4.41 million pops in the lower strata, 1.85 million in the middle, and only 60K in the wealthy. So most of the businesses built in Alentejo are probably owned in Beira or Estremadura. And then Galicia, total population closing in on 4 million, of which almost 3/4 are middle or lower stratum. About 1/4 is middle stratum, and only about 11K are in the upper stratum. So yeah, same deal over there. Taking a look at Rio de Janeiro, I'm expecting it's going to be basically the same way. Only 1 million. Or no, it's our big core area is Minas Gerais over here. 2.47 million in the lower stratum, which is lower than expected. 1 million in the middle, and 28K in the upper. And in Rio de Janeiro, 15K in the upper, and the other ratios look about the same. So that's interesting. Just thought it'd be fun to take a little time to take a look at how the money is distributed in our nation. With that having been said, that is all the time we've got for today. I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I'll see you on the other side.